what other things like messages or what things do you look forward to? I guess what's the goal with this? Do you want to be like coaching people in the future, or do you want to just
absolutely not. No,
So-
I do this for fun.
for fun? Is this something? So explain. You have two kids, right?
Yeah, I think that's actually my goal with jiu-jitsu is I want to train with my kids and teach with them teach them and get to train with them when they're older as well. So
How old is your oldest now?
my daughter's 5 and my son is 3. Yeah.
Oh, it's already 5 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy. So then, when do kids like in the kids class, when do they start?
Actually 3 to I think 4 or 5 actually is the youngest kids class in jiu-jitsu.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we're talking a little bit off air, but your kids started some type of martial arts, right? So what are they doing now?
My kids are doing, they do a bunch of sports. My daughter does soccer and ballet and judo. My son does judo and gymnastics.
Got it.
Yeah, so try to keep them busy.
Yeah. At that young age, what do they do for like judo? Just learn the basics, or?
Yeah, I think they just started, but I think it's a lot of just learning the basics, learning how to fall, learning how to catch themselves so they don't hit their head.
Yeah.
Things like that. Learning just like to listen, not be crazy, and basically basic stances in judo, things like that. Yeah. Even soccer, it's complete chaos. They're just learning how to kick the ball somewhat. And I think sportsmanship.
Yeah. Did you take any martial arts when you were that young, like their age?
I think I did. I think I did judo when I was 5 or 6.
Okay.
I think it was just judo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, that's the one. Like when you're growing up, I would say every sport kind of gives you, something. Like if you think more of the ball sports or baseball, right? A lot of hand-eye coordination, right? That you get to develop. But in martial arts, especially, I think when I was a little kid, I took like Aikido for a little bit.
Okay.
But you learn how to like fall. Yeah. That's the one thing, because like even in other sports, like when you play like contact sports or whatever,
that's a life skill.
You can tell the people that know how to fall.
Yeah.
Or the ones that just like, it's kind of like any kind, right? And then before you know it, it just looks like, man, every time you fall, it's like you're gonna get hurt, right?
That might save your life later. I mean, like falling down a hill or snowboarding or, just when you're old.
Just when you're old,
yeah.
So, those kind of basic skills, we sometimes overlook, like take it for granted. Like, oh yeah, it does have a lot of carryover in life, right? Yeah. So on that note, your kids are in all these activities, hopefully one day they can train with you and all of that. Any other plans with jiu-jitsu?
No.
Well, no. I mean, you train with a lot of the high-level guys, right? And I don't know if it's gi or no gi or whatever, but you still train with a lot of the guys that may be looking to compete, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I think our gym, it's not like a really competition heavy jiu-jitsu gym. There's like the MMA team guys, of course, but I think for the most part, it's more of a hobbyist gym. Yeah. It's just pretty laid back, which is good.
It's good. Yeah. It's good. You don't have to get injured all the time and all that. Yeah. Last thing, any last words that you have in, with sports related injuries or for people that are dealing with knee surgeries, right? What are some of the words of wisdom that you learned through experience, right? Dealing with your own injury, returning back to the high level, returning successfully without any adverse effects or delayed types of problems, right? What are some of the things that you can share to those people? Because I feel like a lot of people in this stage of our life, sometimes they end up having these types of injuries, right? And you're still like not ready to give up that activity, right? But you also want to be okay when you're doing that activity. So what kinds of things do you have that can maybe share some insights as to if you have this type of injury, you need surgery maybe, what are some of the things that will help them navigate this process?
Jeez, I think it just goes back to having that good team to rely on. Because if you feel yourself get injured, it's injury. I think erring on the side of getting it checked out. It's a lot of these injuries that you want to catch them early, rather than not. You can turn a significant injury into a more significant injury the longer you wait. So just I think getting that diagnosed early and meeting with a good doc who can explain to you your options. Because not every injury is a surgical injury. And there's oftentimes many options you can choose from. But I think that's it. As far as my journey, getting some good rehab, listening I know I rush back and whatnot, but I think for the most part I listened pretty well, and I tried to rehab the heck out of my leg. So I think a lot of time, and the problem with this is, I mean, we can go into this for a very long time, but I think the problem with the difficulties with rehabbing here in America is a lot of rehab isn't covered completely, and especially a lot of the performance stuff, it's almost never covered. So it limits how much us normal folks can train or recover. When you only get like 6 to 8 sessions of therapy covered for this type of surgical injury, that's probably not enough. That's probably not even close to enough. So, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion we could go into.
I do want to build off of that because, I think like, just because insurance covers a certain amount, that doesn't mean that you're back or you're where you need to be, right? It's just saying that this is just to get you started. And the journey is going, whatever level you want to return to, you're going to have to continue that. On that note, I will say that, you got back into all of these things, but you kept doing the things that you needed to work on. And even to this day, I mean, when was the last time we talked? Maybe last year, honestly.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
We don't see each other as often now. But even like how you said, you're doing some of the isometrics. You're doing some of the things that even though you hate it, that it provides benefit. I think that's the one message that we kind of keep emphasizing here on the podcast is that there's no like start and stop or black and white end to like when rehab stops. That rehab concept is going to transfer into strength and conditioning. It's going to transfer into keeping your body ready to do jiu-jitsu, right, on a weekly basis. So if more people kind of have that approach, like, of course, go to rehab, get started, but take some of those concepts that that needs continual work and just keep doing it as long as you're doing the activity that you want to do.
I think that's huge. Having something restorative that you do on the side of your sport, I think is huge. Like a lot of people surf because it's kind of complementary to jiu-jitsu. I think a lot of the movements and whatnot. But I do a lot of the isometric stuff. I like to do that. Jog to keep some cardio up. So I feel like when you're tired, you tend to get injured more too. Things like that. But I think that's huge. Having some like regular rehab you do for yourself to maintain.
Definitely, balancing out all the activities. And like you said, we can go on and talk so much more about this, but I know after your long day of work and you got to get back to the kids and everything, we don't want to keep you too long. But other than that, I think it was a lot of great messages, and just find someone in the field that you can rely on. We talked about getting the team together, and there's a lot of people in the orthopedic field, either athletic trainers, physical therapists, physician assistants that are working in the orthopedic setting. And I think the last thing that I'll end on is that they don't realize how much you guys actually do. You're not only the ones that's seeing the patients in the clinic, but you're assisting in surgeries. You're seeing all of the procedures firsthand. You're seeing the follow-ups after rehab, right? So you kind of get this big panoramic view of like, oh, this is what's happening with this athlete, right? So rely on some of these professions and use it to your advantage. But other than that, any last words?
No, thanks for having me to your gym, man. We gotta get one of these workouts in.
Yeah, we're gonna get one of these workouts in. Your famous weight vest workout.
We could speak on that for hours.
So we won't go into that. But overall, I mean, I appreciate you coming down, and we'll have to touch base more often. But thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's a cool podcast you got and cool setup you got here.